For decades, a Newport Beach mansion concealed the darkest secrets of Hollywood legend John Wayne. When he passed away in 1979, his house was immediately sealed. Every photo, letter, and personal item locked away for over 30 years. In 2011, the doors were finally opened, revealing stunning discoveries. From record-breaking movie props to a shocking will that tore his family apart, this is the untold story of what really happened to the Duke's fortune. Born Marion Robert Morrison on May 26, 1907, in Winterset, Iowa, Wayne entered the world at a staggering 13 pounds. So unusual that the local newspaper took note. At just 3 years old, he nearly drowned in an icy creek, but was saved by a passing stranger. This moment of survival foreshadowed the resilience that would define his life. His name changed early on when his parents had another son, naming him Robert. Marion's middle name was switched to Mitchell, hinting at the transformations ahead. In 1914, his family moved to Glendale, California, after his father's business failed. It was there that he earned the nickname Duke from local firefighters, inspired by his Airedale Terrier, who shared the same name. Wayne loved football and earned a scholarship to the University of Southern California in 1925, where he studied pre-law and joined Sigma Chi fraternity. But a body surfing accident ended his football career and cost him his scholarship, crushing his dreams. Yet, this setback unknowingly steered him toward Hollywood. He found work at Fox Studios in 1927 as a prop man, making just $35 a week. His first on-screen appearance was as an uncredited football player in the 1926 film Brown of Harvard. During this time, he befriended legendary director John Ford, who saw his potential. Ford even pushed him to change his name, and after several options, they settled on John Wayne, a name destined for legend. Between 1930 and 1939, Wayne starred in over 80 low-budget westerns, sometimes filming an entire movie in just 2 days. He barely made enough to survive, often eating nothing but a can of beans heated on a hot plate. By 1938, frustrated by his lack of success, he considered quitting acting entirely. Everything changed in 1939 with the film Stagecoach. The studio wanted a bigger star like Gary Cooper, but Ford refused to direct unless Wayne was cast. His role as the Ringo Kid became iconic, especially his unforgettable close-up with a rifle, a scene that took 27 takes due to his nerves. The film was a smash hit, earning 7 Academy Award nominations and turning Wayne into an overnight star. Despite his newfound fame, Wayne was paid just $3,700 for Stagecoach, a fraction of what bigger actors earned. But from that moment on, he became the ultimate symbol of American masculinity. He turned down roles in films like The Maltese Falcon and High Noon to maintain his rugged cowboy image, a decision that solidified his legendary status. Wayne and Ford's partnership lasted over 50 years, producing 14 legendary films that reshaped Hollywood. Their relationship was intense. Ford was known for being harsh on actors, and Wayne often took the brunt of it. Yet, their collaborations created some of the most unforgettable moments in film history. But behind the cameras, Wayne's personal life was far more complicated. And when the doors to his Newport Beach mansion were finally unlocked in 2011, the truth about his fortune and final wishes shocked everyone. By 1956, director John Ford was still pushing John Wayne to his limits. During The Searchers, Ford made Wayne redo a pretty simple scene of picking up a gun 17 times, humiliating him in front of the crew. But Wayne never complained. He believed Ford's tough methods brought out his best performances. Despite its brilliance, The Searchers received no Oscar recognition, but today it's considered one of the greatest films ever made. Their final film together, Donovan's Reef, 1963, almost didn't happen. Wayne felt too old for the role, and Ford's health was failing due to alcoholism. Still, Wayne convinced him to direct, and they shot in Hawaii under brutal 100-degree Fahrenheit heat. Ford became so sick with shingles that he directed some scenes lying on a stretcher. Despite the struggles, the film was completed, proving they could still work magic, even in their final years. Wayne's first Academy Award nomination came from Sands of Iwo Jima, 1949, where he played the tough Sergeant John Stryker. Initially, he didn't want the role, thinking it was too similar to his past characters, but the studio president personally convinced him, offering a then huge $250,000 plus profit shares. The film's battle scenes were dangerously realistic. Director Alan Dwan insisted on using live flamethrowers and explosives, leading to on-set injuries. Wayne was even knocked unconscious for 30 minutes when an explosion went wrong, halting production for 2 days. The film featured real combat footage from the Battle of Iwo Jima, seamlessly blended with staged scenes, so well done that many thought the entire movie was real. A standout moment was the flag raising on Mount Suribachi, using the original battle flag, with 3 of the surviving Marines from the event appearing in the film. Despite Sands of Iwo Jima, 1949, being a major hit, Wayne lost the Oscar to Broderick Crawford for All the King's Men. Ironically, he had turned down the lead role, calling it un-American. The loss stung, and he wouldn't get another shot at an Oscar for 11 years. Wayne's biggest gamble was The Alamo, 1960, a passion project he spent 15 years trying to make. To finance it, he mortgaged his house, cars, and boat. With a $12 million budget, he built a full-scale Alamo replica in Texas, using 1.5 million handmade adobe bricks. The grueling 79-day shoot in 110 degrees Fahrenheit heat involved 7,000 extras, 1,500 horses, and intense battle scenes, causing real injuries. The film's grand premiere featured fireworks and a parade, earning 7 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture. But critics were mixed. The box office failed to cover costs, and Wayne was snubbed for Best Director, devastating him. Despite its struggles, The Alamo remains a defining part of his legacy. 1970, John Wayne won his first and only Academy Award for True Grit, playing the gruff U.S. Marshal Rooster Cogburn. At first, he hesitated, feeling too old and still recovering from lung cancer surgery. But after reading the novel, he knew it was the role of a lifetime. Filming was tough. Freezing weather, high altitude, and a torn shoulder muscle didn't stop him. He even used an oxygen tank between takes. Despite the challenges, True Grit grossed $31 million and became one of his biggest hits. At the Oscars, while sick with the flu, Wayne joked, "If I'd known this, I'd have put that patch on 35 years earlier." Some critics saw it as a Lifetime Achievement Award, but it cemented his Hollywood legacy. Wayne's personal life was just as intense. His first wife, Josephine Saenz, married him in 1933, and they had 4 children. But fame kept him away, and in 1938, his affair with Marlene Dietrich shattered their marriage. He tried to reconcile, even taking Josephine to Mexico in 1943, but they divorced in 1945, setting the stage for more romantic drama. John Wayne's love life was as dramatic as his films. His second wife, Esperanza Bauer, was jealous and once tried to shoot him in a drunken rage. Their marriage ended in 1954. That same year, he wed Pilar Palete, with whom he had 3 children. They separated in 1973, but never divorced. His most famous affair was with Marlene Dietrich, lasting nearly 10 years. She even helped boost his career. Though their romance ended in 1947, they remained close. His chemistry with Maureen O'Hara fueled romance rumors, and they shared a brief fling, but remained lifelong friends. In his final years, Wayne found love with Pat Stacey, his secretary and caregiver. She stayed by his side through his battle with lung cancer, which he was diagnosed with in 1964 after decades of smoking. Despite a tough surgery, he survived for 5 more years before the cancer returned. John Wayne faced cancer head-on, openly discussing it to encourage early detection. He coined the term the Big C to make it less intimidating, and even starred in a 1965 PSA for cancer research. When cancer returned in 1979, he tried experimental treatments, but continued raising awareness until the very end. Even from his hospital bed, he recorded fundraising messages urging support. His final film, The Shootist, 1976, mirrored his real-life battle as he played a dying gunfighter. Despite needing oxygen between takes, Wayne insisted on doing his own stunts. He even demanded a script change, refusing to let his character be shot in the back, staying true to his on-screen persona. Wayne passed away on June 11, 1979, at 72. His death was a national moment of mourning, with President Jimmy Carter calling him a true American hero. Fans gathered at his Newport Beach home, leaving tributes, while his Hollywood Walk of Fame star became a shrine. His funeral was private, but a public memorial allowed millions to say goodbye. Wayne's estate was worth $6.85 million, about $25 million today, surprisingly modest for such a major star. He left nothing to his third wife, Pilar, leading to family disputes over his fortune. His biggest financial mystery was selling his beloved yacht, the Wild Goose, shortly before his death. Wayne's $6.85 million estate sparked family disputes, especially after he left nothing to his third wife. His Newport Beach mansion sold for $5.5 million in 1980, and in 2011, 700-plus personal items were auctioned. Over 40 years later, his films, toughness, and patriotism endure, while the John Wayne Cancer Foundation funds research. The Duke lives on,